to EndSARS, where is Oshiomhole, Dino, Soyinka, Rufai, and those who protested against Jonathan in 2012? In 2012, Goodluck Jonathan was the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. His ascension to the seat of the number one citizen of the nation was more of a miracle than a political masterstroke. This is because where he comes from, the Ijaws represent a minority compared to the Hausas, Fulanis, Igbos, and Yorubas. However, when there was an increase in the pump price of petrol then, the opposition, which majorly constituted members of CPC, ANPP, and ACN, marched on the streets of Abuja to demand a reversal. His administration was called so many names. Obviously, this is hypocritical because right now they are in government, but then how would they feel? They're really currently feeling the heat of being protested against, because the same way they were fighting for or protesting against Jonathan's administration is the same way the administration is actually worse than Jonathan's. So obviously there is a lot of irony here, and since they can't go and protest because they've definitely protested against Jonathan's government, why can't they protest now? Why do they want to stop protest? Why are they not for the protest? They realize that Nigerians are getting their voices and now they cannot handle a taste of their own medicine. It really does show how corrupt the government is, or how corrupt they are, because when they went to government, they were thinking for themselves. They wanted the current administration at that time to end so they could get in now. But then look at what is happening now. They're not even doing well themselves. The likes of former Kogi West Senator Dino, Kaduna State Governor Malam Nasir El-Rufai, Muhammadu Buhari, and other notable personalities were on the streets with placards demanding a change. See, this is how it's a cyclical thing. Karma comes to get these people back, and now what you were giving to people, what you were giving to administration, the current administration at the time, people are giving it to you, and you can't handle it. Today, there is another nationwide protest where the youths have been on the streets for over 6 days demanding an end to SARS. But Dino, Oshiomhole, Wole Soyinka, and all those who protested against Goodluck Jonathan today are not on the streets asking for an end to SARS. Of course, they're benefiting from it. It is their government. They're the ones leading at this time. They wanted Jonathan to go because they wanted to be in power. They're in power. They're not doing what they want, and it's actually worse than when Jonathan was in power. Well, that Nigerians are demanding for an end to police brutality, there are calls for police reform. Now that there are calls for better representation at all levels, I ask again, where is Dino on the streets of Abuja? Where is the Nobel laureate, Professor Wole Soyinka? Where is Malam Nasir El-Rufai on the streets of Kaduna? And where is the people's comrade, Adams Oshiomhole, on the streets of Edo State? It is highly, highly ironic. It is highly embarrassing because you are on the streets to only protest for the things that concern you. You protested so you can get into power. But when you got into power, you don't even do the things you're meant to do. And the people are protesting against your government and your administration. It is highly embarrassing, and it shows how corrupt they are and how they really only think for themselves. Well, I feel like the scary thing is that a lot of the youths are not going to back down. They are going to demand for justice, demand for the end to corruption, and demand for the end of SARS, because they're not going to sit down, get fed up, and not do anything about it, because that's what they want. They want you to be in a low vibration, not for you to, understand how it is, for you to understand your rights, understand your history, and of course not settle for less, because how can you vote people into a government and you're not able to demand from them what is your right? Understanding? So obviously it is very embarrassing that these people are not there right now to go protest or supporting any protest, whereas before they were protesting with everybody else because they wanted to get into power. For example, like yesterday, Sage was saying that the youth should not protest and they should be satisfied with what the current government has done, which is highly hypocritical, first of all, because how do you tell the people who put you in government what to be satisfied with? You are meant to serve them. And again, this is an example of how the government currently is very inadequate, very incompetent to actually understanding why they are there. And it really does show that they're there for selfish reasons, because if they do see eye to eye with the people and what they're going through, they understand, but they obviously don't understand. Well, obviously with the abuse of power and getting into power, they don't really care, saying that the youth should to be satisfied and the government has done enough. The word dissolve does not really show an end to SARS. It doesn't intensify what it actually means. That, okay, fine, the word dissolve does not give the full authority of an end to something, and so obviously they're going to demand for more. Of course, people are knowing their rights, they're voting, they are aware of the current political climate, and then they're afraid that because they know what is going on, they are aware of their rights, and because of this little victory, it will of course give Nigerians, and especially Nigerian youths, confidence to actually ask for more. At the end of the day, the violence is going to increase, rights is going to increase, and this has not just happened out of nowhere. Martin Luther King said that that riots are the voice of the unheard. So if you've not been heard for a long time, you've been pushed, the only way that the only language that, well, Nigeria, the Nigerian government does understand, and it can be proven, is actually through violence. But of course, it is not the human right. It violates the human rights actually for the government to go and put tear gas and stop people from protesting in a democracy. Well, one would argue, is Nigeria a democracy? Well, put what you think about this in the comment section below. Do you believe that it is ironic how Oshiomhole, Dino, Rufai and Soyinka are not protesting now, or they're not in support of the protests, but in 2012 they went on the streets for their own aims just to get Jonathan basically out of government and his administration. It is very ironic, it is very embarrassing. They're not doing anything. Of course, with the Edo elections, their minds were not, there in the first place. And with Dino, he's very rich. He probably does not care on social media, doing what he does just to make people laugh. And again, endorsing these characters on social media, they're not on our side. We shouldn't be on theirs either. Well, put what you think about this in the comment section below, and what you think about this. Do not forget to like and subscribe.